Moving to a new city or state is extremely stressful. There are so many moving parts, so many variables and unknowns, and even more so if you've never even been to the area that you're moving to. I've lived in the San Antonio area for all of my life, and as much as I love living here, it's definitely not without its negatives. In today's video, I am bringing you some of the biggest cons about living in San Antonio, Texas, that may even change your mind about moving here. Let's get to it. Now, if this is your first time to my channel and you are looking for all of the details about what it's like living in San Antonio, Texas, and where to live in San Antonio, Texas, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. And if you're ready to discuss your move to San Antonio, I specialize in helping families relocate to the San Antonio area from all over the country. I help them find homes in areas that they absolutely love, and more importantly, help them avoid those areas that they absolutely hate. So if this is something that you would benefit from, I would love to help you with your move as well, and all you need to do is reach out. Now let's get to this list of the top things that you will absolutely hate about living in San Antonio, Texas. And just so you know, most of these things are coming from other people and families that I've helped move here. And I pulled them for their thoughts, opinions, and experiences just to be able to give you a more realistic perspective from real life people that were in the same situation as you when moving here. But I will just add in there and say this, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it or anything, but out of all the people that I've helped move here, the good things about living here in San Antonio far outweigh the bad things. But I do feel like it's necessary for me to share those bad things as well, just so you have a realistic expectation when moving here, because it's definitely not perfect. So first off, let's talk about the unpredictable weather. And I'm not just talking about the heat. That's actually pretty predictable if you think about it. I mean, if you're considering moving to San Antonio, you already know that it gets ridiculously hot. Like opening an oven door and being blasted by the heat type hot. And actually this year, lucky us, we've had record-breaking heat, much like the rest of the country. But I think I heard that we've had like 50 plus days of 100-degree temps or more. So it makes it difficult to do things spontaneously during the summer outdoors, like hiking, taking the kids to the park or the zoo, or even yard work. You're usually going to plan those things for early morning or late evening when the sun isn't so super hot. You have to be very intentional with your hydration if you're planning on being outdoors a lot. It can just be really brutal during the peak summer months. But again, at least that's predictable. As miserable as it sounds though, to my clients that are moving from the northern states or Canada, it's usually a pretty welcome change from the opposite, which is brutally cold months and months of shoveling snow. So, but getting to what I mean by unpredictable weather, and what really tends to surprise people that move to San Antonio is the severity of the thunderstorms when we do get them. Since we're so far inland, we don't worry about the effects of hurricanes in the San Antonio area, with the exception of heavy rains and some winds, flash flooding, of course, but there are hardly ever tornadoes in San Antonio. I do get a lot of questions about Texas being part of Tornado Alley, but that's actually the northern part of the state. But one thing that we do have is crazy and unpredictable thunderstorms and hail, especially during spring months, but has also been known to happen in the fall when the temps start to change and get cooler. A lot of times it's minor, like pea-sized or penny-sized hail, but sometimes it can get to golf ball or even softball size, which actually just happened to us here back in April of 2016. That storm caused billions of dollars worth of damages to businesses, homes, and vehicles throughout the San Antonio area. Now, thankfully, we don't see it that extreme very often, but usually once a year, every 2 years, there is some kind of hail activity. And because of how quickly these storms form here, there isn't always a lot of warning. The San Antonio area is also prone to flash flooding during heavy rainfall, which can cause lots of issues, especially around low water crossings or near bodies of water like creeks, rivers, and lakes, which there are lots of here in South Texas. As for winters, though it is notoriously mild here, we will usually see at least one ice storm a year with freezing rain or sleet that cause icy and treacherous roads, which means that the entire city pretty much shuts down since we are just not equipped to handle these conditions or even drive during these conditions here in South Texas. So when the snowstorm hit San Antonio in 2021, you can imagine how detrimental that was to the city with a whole week of snow and freezing temperatures. There was a total loss of power to millions throughout the state, boil water notices, there were food and grocery shortages. Needless to say, we just don't wish for snow here in San Antonio anymore. So, in short, you have to expect the unexpected when it comes to the weather in San Antonio, Texas. The next thing that you will likely really hate about living in San Antonio is that there's construction literally everywhere you look. But where it is particularly annoying is out on the highways and roadways throughout the city. From expanding the lanes to adding roundabouts or HOV lanes, it seems like there are road barriers, closed lanes, and construction signs everywhere. And while it's great to think about how it will improve and benefit the city when they are finally done, and I say finally because these projects literally take what seems like forever, it can definitely create headaches for drivers while these projects are underway, especially when it comes to traffic. Unexpected lane closures and even closures of a whole section of highway that divert traffic to an access road can cause massive delays with your commute, even if you're not driving during peak traffic times. Not to mention how dangerous these spots are for construction workers and drivers, especially when these areas are already prone to accidents. The only way to somewhat avoid it is to use a really good GPS app like Waze or something of the sort that can send you an alternate route when there is a closure. So while it's good for us all in the long run, if you hate construction zones and the chaos and traffic that they create, you will absolutely hate that about San Antonio. Now let's talk about my least favorite topic, and I get asked about this a lot more often than you may think, and that's about pests and wildlife in San Antonio. As far as pests go, it's true what they say, even though it is cliche, everything is bigger in Texas. The mosquitoes are freaking huge and ridiculous and annoying, and you'll definitely want to keep mosquito repellent, citronella candles, or even the Thermacell works pretty well. The mosquitoes will just torment you the entire time you're outside, and the welts that they leave can last for days. Now, inside your home, it's very possible that you'll have to battle spiders, scorpions, and worst of all, cockroaches. They always find a way inside your house. Yuck, I feel gross even talking about it, but it is something that you may come across here. So if you're like me and hate the thought of creepy crawlies inside your home, this is easily solved with a great pest control company as soon as you move in. They can also treat your yard to minimize mosquitoes and houseflies. Now to what you can expect on the wildlife side. And some of these things may or may not be considered as pests, depending on who you ask, I guess. But snakes, particularly rattlesnakes, are the ones that most people are concerned with. There are so many different species of snakes here in Texas, both venomous and non-venomous. Now, a lot of people have this misconception that rattlesnakes are just crawling around everywhere here in Texas, and while that's not necessarily the case, it is not uncommon to see them, especially during these hot, dry summers. Thankfully, I've never seen one in person, besides at the zoo, but I'm on several neighborhood pages and people find them in their yards, sidewalks, and walking trails. Other wildlife that you'll see around and need to be careful of, especially while driving, are armadillos, skunks, wild hogs, and even especially white-tailed deer. Especially in the more rural areas, but deer are frequently spotted even in the more populated areas of the city. I actually hit one with my car a few years ago and it was no fun. It caused a lot of damage to the car and I felt so guilty for days that I ran over a deer. So if you're not into dealing with snakes, spiders, scorpions, and constantly watching for wildlife on the road, you may want to reconsider moving to Texas. The next thing that some people are somewhat annoyed when finding out when moving to San Antonio is that the majority of the homes here are in HOA communities. While on the real estate side of things, I see the many benefits of HOAs, but There are also many negatives to them, just depending on the specific HOA and which company it's managed by. Some of these HOAs are very disorganized and have very little follow through or enforcement of the rules that were created to maintain the neighborhood and property values, while there are others that are extreme in following these rules. And in some areas, such as the very well known Stone Oak area, you even have multiple mandatory HOAs. And you'll find that HOA fees will vary just depending on the area and the price point, what type of amenities they offer, etc. And whatever you do, don't go into an HOA community and not pay your assessments, because they can file collections with an attorney, place a lien on your home, and even foreclose on your home if it is allowed in their CCR, which you will definitely want to review before you close on the home. The next thing that you will hate about San Antonio is the crime rate. Now, this is also the most difficult and delicate thing for me as a realtor to discuss with clients that are moving to San Antonio, because I'm not allowed to steer in any way. If you read through the comment section of some of my other videos, you'll see that I actually catch a lot of heat from viewers on this topic, and they say that I need to share more about crime rates and keep people away from high crime areas, since obviously that's an important deciding factor for anyone that is considering moving here. But I'm just not able to do that or advise on that particular subject. Here is what I can say. San Antonio is known for having a crime rate that is much higher than the national average. Drug and gang activity seems to increase year over year, and it's a sad and frustrating but undeniable truth to living in a large metro area. You will absolutely want to research crime data and statistics and rule out any areas that you feel would not work for you. And there are tons of resources that can help you do that contain public data. Obviously, there are pockets that have higher reports than others, but there's no way to ever guarantee that you won't be a victim of crime no matter where you are in the world. Everyone, of course, wants to know where are the safest areas to live in San Antonio, and I can absolutely help you to decide what the best areas for you and your family are based off of your needs and wants and through research of public data. So what do you think so far? Anything you agree with, disagree with, anything that makes you apprehensive about moving to San Antonio? Drop me a comment below, because I'm super curious to know. And listen, I love helping people find the areas that they love in San Antonio. I originally created this channel for my military buyers that were PCSing from other states and that just wanted more information on San Antonio, having no idea that there were so many other people that needed this information too. And now I've become obsessed with getting this information out there and helping people learn all about this amazing city. So if you're just quietly gathering info and researching right now, make sure to subscribe so that you can see more of my videos about San Antonio. If you're a step ahead of that and you're ready to start planning, just reach out. I'll walk you through all the rest. But in the meantime, here is another video for you to watch all about moving to San Antonio, Texas. I so look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.